Hallo miteinander, I'm Geschiddy6 and this is Ghost Hunter Reimu. Last time we did it like Sub-Zero and froze our way to victory. We start off with Reimu getting the impression that only she can see the inhabitants of Hakugyokuro. Maybe she's mentioned the incident to some average peasantry. She also noticed a mechanism on the Bosudoru. Perhaps they are remote controlled. We've just gotten attacked even before our cutscene started by this gruesome spider. How rude. Notice it had a skull on its abdomen for extra scariness. There is something very unique about this type of enemy. We may learn what it is in the near future. Now, in what place did we land this time? I think this area might be a basement, cellar, or dungeon, definitely somewhere deep down within the mansion. We won't be seeing the night sky this episode. Would you believe that this is not the game's gloomiest stage? There will come a time where we'll be subject to lighting shenanigans, and it's not in here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've almost purified the first room. Our poor aim with the ice is the only thing slightly delaying it. You may have noticed Reimu doing something she couldn't before. Until now, we've been avoiding attacks with well-timed jumps and careful steps. But a new era of evasion is upon us. The world will never be the same. Watch this. We casually cut that bullet out of the air, something that we simply could not do before. In between videos, I bought the sword skill Guard Beheader. This has to be the most essential skill in the game. It makes a phenomenal difference. The only reason we didn't get it for episode 2 already is because we wouldn't have been able to get all the secrets without the ice spell. It was either or, we didn't have enough soul cash to afford both. Now that we finally do, our playstyle will become a lot more aggressive. After all, we only need to keep slashing to delete those bullets. Another red crystal and lamppost up here. We really needed the ladder. Anyway, Guard Beheader will make our life so much easier, but know that not all projectiles can be cancelled. Rule of thumb is, if a shot looks really big, you likely can't swipe it away. On to room number 3, which is full of bamboo spikes. These spikes fulfill the common trope of the Mega Man spike. All it takes is to slightly brush them and we are dead. We aren't even allowed to walk into their blunt sides. Some games take a better approach. An example is Spelunky, where you can walk through towering spikes because we could all squeeze ourselves between them. If you fall onto them from a height, however, you'll be skewered. Makes sense. Ghost Hunter Reimu has the generic, typical spikes of old. Nothing to be ashamed of, all in all. Once again, we must praise the ice spell. We couldn't have found this chamber without it. Oh, we are such busy completionists. If this were a first playthrough, achievements would be assaulting us for the most mundane stuff. I didn't delete a certain file, the master save I guess, so they won't. I'd be very surprised if one popped up at any point in the Let's Play, but who knows. Coming up is a drop that killed me the first time I got to it, I think. You can see the platform from above, but not the spikes. Very cheeky. Also, up ahead is an instance of deadly ceiling spikes, where you're not allowed to push down the jump button too hard, but just hard enough. It's not easy. Come on, just a little more. There we go. It took us a few scared, weak attempts, but then we found the sweet spot. Lots of nasty stuff in the cellar, although in comparison, it's not too bad. The fact that we chose it as early as we did means it's one of the easier levels, by no means the easiest. I do remember struggling with it when I wasn't familiar with the game as a whole, but I think we're equipped for it. We've successfully reached the 4th room, which is a very special room. It hides a sneaky secret, the kind that is easily overlooked if you're not one to take risks. We'll get to it in time. Another upgrade we bought apart from the guard beheader is a passive one that simply improves the strength of our melee strikes. Our energy bolts are still a little wimpy, there are purchasables for that as well. But we are slicing and dicing with more ease now, as seen with this ghost. So, about that secret, what do you say we throw ourselves down a pit? We can't because there is no pit. On the other side, we find no Captain Yorshka, but more crystals. This time, we'll be brave and break the purple one, which gets us punished by this apparition. It is a skull conjurer, an enemy that can be very annoying with the wrong loadout, or in teamwork with other ghosts. The way things were, that one wasn't at all. What's good about them is that you don't need to awaken them to get the red star of a room for kills. I think you can even summon them, ignore them completely, and you'll still get that star. Skull conjurers can appear in stages normally without being linked to purple crystals. You will have to eliminate those rare individuals for prizes. Room number 5 is not too extraordinary. It does throw many of these spiders in our way. And that spider just turned us green for a moment. Yup, their shots can poison you, the only status ailment of this game. Whenever you're poisoned, a small green bar will appear at the top of the screen, fill up swiftly, and deal damage whenever it gets full. It will do this 3 times, which is painful. 3 points of damage is a lot in Ghost Hunter Reimu. Having to wait this poisoning out is harsh, but we did not have to, because we used our consumable. For this level, our potion is a slender green flask, which is an antidote. It's a smart move to buy some for this stage, as the cellar is pretty heavily themed around poison. Lots of spiders down here in the dark. Not to reveal too much, but the boss is able to poison as well. Good thing we brought one more spare. We're in the 6th room now, by the way, an area where it's easy to drop to your doom. It's full of these blocks that slowly dissolve on touch, but there are 2 types of them. Right now, there are only those on screen that we haven't talked about last time. They consist of 9 tinier squares that will slowly disappear one after another, unlike the big single blocks that simply shrink over time. The big difference between the types is that the ones made up of tiny squares will never regenerate and may completely disappear. That can make areas inaccessible, and you could miss out on secrets, so be careful. No, I did not fall asleep there. We have to wait for the platform. In this game, there's so much waiting. Nah, only some here and there. Like I said, it's not so bad. This is a very spacey room. There's still that ladder around the center that we have ignored so far. It'll bring us to new heights. What a weird, wide open area indeed. I think Ghost Hunter Reimu has pretty nice level design, very unconventional at times, and pleasantly non-formulaic. To be honest, the game as a whole didn't immediately click for me. It took me about an hour of playtime until I really had an opinion of it that wasn't clouded by confusion. This is often the case with me, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Rarely does any game immediately blow me away. I tend to play a new video game with complete indecisiveness about it for a good while. At some point, I start to see the big picture. Sometimes I go, yup, now I am sure that I hate this. This wasn't the case here. How far Ghost Hunter Reimu shifted towards the positive, we'll talk about near the end of the Let's Play, in our typical conclusive review. We could have gone to the right for a health potion there, but I kinda forgot about it and just started climbing. Oh well, we can backtrack for it if we get into dire need of it, which isn't so unlikely. The enemies here themselves aren't too tough, but they are annoying when paired with the spread out platforms. Whatever, they're gone now. These next ones went toe to toe with us, which didn't keep me from getting hit foolishly. We could actually use that potion now, but there's another one nearby if we just survive the way down. There's a game mechanic that's really helpful to remember at such an occasion. If you walk off a platform, you'll still be able to jump during the fall. You need to understand that this is not a double jump. Reimu can never jump twice. You need to drop off the platform, then you'll have this laws of physics defying mid-air jump. Now what is concealed here? Everything we need to get all the stars in this last section before the boss fight. The exit to said boss we've already briefly seen before. And what a boss that is going to be. Just so you know, on my maiden playthrough of this game, I died 10 or so times to it. It's not going to be easy, but I did have a lot less sensible skill setup back then. I somehow think we're going to die less than 10 times today. Yeah, I believe that is a prudent estimation. Enough build-up, here it is. Reimu remarks that it took a while for this doll to awaken, and wonders if its destruction will affect the area. A pretty standard message that will get repeated. But whoa, what is this now? The doll transformed into the Mishaguji, a being of folklore who is starting to become a repeat offender in my Let's Plays. The big catch of this fight is that the Mishaguji stays invulnerable as long as one of its small summoned snakes is alive. You'll need to chase after each of them to make any headway. It would be all too easy if you could keep wailing on this immobile boss. The boss, as well as its summons, will shoot at you with both bullets and poison. Surprisingly, Guard Beheader has no problem cancelling the poison. The fast beam that follows a crosshair is a different story. You'll just have to get away from that once you see it. This fight went by lightning fast. It is all thanks to our increased melee power. Kanako's spirit emerged from our fallen foe. Weird. The victory monologue here is the same as it was in the previous episode. Oh, one more thing. If you need to cross sides, climb up and use a drop jump. Makes it unlikelier to collide with the Mishaguji. Alright, that's it for today. I'm Geshedi6, this was Ghost Hunter Reimu, and next time we'll strap on our iron boots for some diving. Bis bald!